Hello. Hey. How's everybody doing tonight? Well, I guess I should say a bit about myself. My name is Mauro, originally from Italy.
Sorry, can you
Can't
speak
hear
up,
you in the
please?
back. Okay, I'll project more. Sorry. Um, I've been in Taiwan for a while. I'm a performer. I do dance and theater. I also do a lot of other things. I'm very interested in the body and movement. I had a few things planned for tonight, and then as chance would have it, things are always in flux. And because one of my areas of expertise is improvisation, physical improvisation in both dance and theater, I'm gonna improvise. I'm gonna have to improvise a bit. I should say that I'm extremely honored to be here. I'm also very thankful to be here, particularly tonight. I haven't been at Red Room for a while, and tonight is not a special day because every day should be special, but it's it's nice to be here because just a couple days ago I was in a pretty gnarly car accident and I have 12 stitches on my chin right now. And I'm not saying this to like get your pity or be like, though I appreciate the concern. As you can see, I'm doing well, but my body's still in a state of a bit of shock, which is going to tie into what I'm going to say tonight. I had a concussion a couple days ago besides the 12 stitches, and so if I'm not making sense when I talk, just blame it on that. But hopefully I will make some sense. The talk tonight is about movement. We're all quite familiar with movement. We all move as humans or as living beings, I should say, as sentient beings. Our bodies are literally made for movement. Our natural state is a state of movement. There is no such thing as perfect stillness, which doesn't mean we shouldn't find time to be still and meditate and do all those kinds of beautiful things. It's just a matter of realizing at the physical level what happens in our body, and that is that the trillions of cells that make up our bodies are constantly moving, which is why our body is constantly moving. And no matter how hard we try, and consciously or unconsciously, we all try really hard sometimes through tension and fear, there is no way of being completely still. There is no way of being completely stuck, which is a wonderful thing. And it's very easy to sort of experience this if you've all in your life now in the past have had a job where you've had to sit for a number of hours. You feel that that's not quite comfortable because your body is not moving and it's sort of closing in and on itself, and you're looking at this computer, or we're like telephone zombies, as they say here in Taiwan, when we're like, this is our current state of being. It's like this, and the body is not really moving. It's very closed, and then we can open and sort of breathe, which is literally a sigh of relief. Also, if I love sleeping just like anybody else, especially the last couple of days. But if you sleep too much, then you'll wake up and you'll barely be able to get out of bed because your body has been still for too long, and there's been no flow besides the flow, obviously, of your breathing and the flow of blood inside your body. To see this whole like concept of movement being inherent to our life, I'm going to invite you all to stand. Don't kick each other in the face. Don't elbow each other. And we're just going to do this very simple. It's not even an experiment. It's just an experience, I guess. And even if you can't see me, I'm going to describe. You just want to stand. The most relaxed position for standing in both dance and theater, but also in, for example, Qigong and other Eastern methods of using the body, is just with your feet very nicely rooted and spread out on the floor. And your feet should be roughly shoulder width apart. So if you have really broad shoulders, you want to open up a little more. If you have very narrow shoulders, you want to close up a little more. And then you're going to try to relax everything to the point that you're standing, but you're not using any force. And so your knees are soft. Gravity, this beautiful thing that keeps us alive and keeps us on this earth and not floating in outer space, as nice as that would be. Just gravity is just working our body's weight downward, and we can root into the earth. But there's also kind of buoyancy, a natural buoyancy to the body that is particularly there when we're relaxed. And so we're just going to relax our knees, relax our pelvis, relax our shoulders, let them fall. Open up your chest without using force, without doing this, just naturally. And then let your head literally just float on top of your... Imagine that there's maybe like a string holding you up. And so we're like literally like puppets, like marionettes, hanging down from this string through gravity, but also standing up, buoyant in our spine, in our pelvis, in our connection with the ground. And if you close your eyes and you just breathe, you may be able very quickly to realize that you're standing, quote unquote, still is actually not still at all. Because our muscles and our bones and our joints are constantly moving and readjusting our position in space. Not because the earth is moving underneath us, even though it is, especially here in Taiwan, quite often, but just because there is so much movement. The flow of our breath, which is a physical thing, the flow of our blood, the flow of our lymphatic system, the flow of our neurons from the brain down the spine and all out through the nerves, all the way to our fingertips and our toes. There's so much flowing that stillness, physical stillness, is virtually impossible. And this is a wonderful thing. Because if I now asked you, as you experience this very nice, almost swaying type of motion, in dance, particularly in this form of dance called contact improvisation, we call this the small dance. And it's when you let your body be itself. You're not doing anything. You're not trying to move. But you're also not trying not to move. You just let your body be, and your body very naturally flows in a way. And you can accentuate it a bit more, and you can shift a bit more and just go literally with the flow, which is not just a nice way, poetic way of saying things, but it's actually what's happening. Or you could do the opposite, which is as in modern times, and for most people, it's our unnatural state of being most of the day, which is using tension. And so if we tense up in this position, trying to hold still, and we tell ourselves, don't move, don't move, don't move, and we just contract everything, you're gonna see that maybe you feel that, oh, okay, I got it, I'm not moving. But actually this tension, this over-contraction of your muscles and joints is creating even more movement. So again, movement will happen regardless. And you can open your eyes. And this is an exercise you can do at any point of the day or night or whenever. I encourage you to do so, especially if you have like a tedious office job or a very exciting office job or whatever job that forces you to be in one position, particularly sitting at all times. And we can all take a seat. Remember, the small dance, this is what we call it. And there's another very simple exercise that we can do, which ties
so performers can walk
our
in.
natural state of being movement bodies with this idea of tension and our unnatural state of being too tense. And we can all do this. Just put out your arm, your forearm, and hold your forearm up. And now make a fist and make it really tight, as if you wanted to punch the person in front of you. Please don't punch them. but really mad to the point that you're shaking, or not quite, but this is what's going to happen. And so you have so much tension in your forearm, even if the rest of your body is soft. And now try to move your forearm or your wrist from side to side. It's going to be extremely difficult. It's going to take a lot of force. You're using your muscles. You're using energy. If you do it for like long enough, you're going to begin to sweat, even if we're in this nice, conveniently air-conditioned room. And now let go of the fist. And it's the same position, but you're not holding it. And now try to move. And it's much easier. Do that. And this is not like a trick or something that only smart people who are dancers can do. It's a very natural type of thing. It's like, okay, this is our unnatural, common, normal. The new normal is this. We're moving and we're using a lot of force. And not just in our daily lives as we walk, as we hold tension, but also there's a lot of disciplines, there's a lot of hitting, there's a lot of things that require us to be like very tense, which is not bad in itself, but this is what happens. We use a lot of energy and we struggle literally to move because there's too much muscular tension. And if we just relax the muscles, the position is the same, the movement is the same, the effort is almost non-existent. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because doing what I do, and in a way struggling to find meaning in what I do as an artist, and making it viable, not just financially, which is hard enough in itself, but also as sort of a life purpose. I spend a lot of time thinking, sometimes too much time. And the physical and the mental are very closely related, and most of us could agree with that. For example, I am still shaken up from my accident 2 days ago, which happened just outside here on Zhongshaodong Lu near Donghua. And it was 12 noon, and it was lots of people, and my scooter, I hit a car and I flipped over and I hit my head. And I'm very lucky to be here. And like we all are very lucky to be here, and we tend to take this for granted, our bodies. And whatever we do with our bodies, it's so normal. Okay, we have a body, we don't even think about it, and we just take it for granted. And we only have to like injure ourselves or not even have something tragic happen to us, but you can think of anybody you know who's sick or who's bedridden. And so then you begin to ponder, oh, I'm so lucky to be here, and we all are. I'm so lucky to be able to allow the body to move naturally without too much pain, especially if you're a teenager or in your 20s. If you're in your 30s and later, then maybe it's a little painful, but you can still move. You can still allow the flow of movement to happen. And so this mental and physical connection, I'm still shaken up from the accident, and then having to wait for the police and seeing the guy whom I hit not wait for the police and the ambulance with me, but run away and sort of being like, okay, I'm bleeding on the middle of the street and you're just leaving, thank you, goodbye. And this mental being shaken up translates into physical tension. I'm literally sitting here and I have to remind myself to relax, because it takes time for the body and the mind to process this tension, which happens, as we've all experienced when you're in a state of shock, to sort of work itself out. I also use movement and allowing the movement to happen naturally to, I don't want to say cure diseases, but to deal with the discomforts of everyday life. Like a lot of people, I don't think I'm saying anything crazy, but in this day and age, throughout a lot of my adult life, I've struggled with depression. Sometimes mildly, sometimes more seriously. And depression is literally, if you look at it from a mental standpoint, is a state of being stuck, is a state of being paralyzed. And so the mind and the body, again, are also connected, because if we allow the body to move as it should and as it's made to be, and if we allow the mind to move, then we can ease our problems. In my case, depression or whatever things may afflict you. And why is that? Because when our mind is playing tricks on us and when we're tense, it's a state of non-movement. We, at least I, in my experience, when I struggle is because I'm judging and I'm feeling guilty and I'm having very strong opinion about things. And this judgment is a state of being stuck. Because if I see Toby's shirt and I say, oh, that's a black shirt. Okay, he's wearing a black shirt. Of course, we can all see that. But then if I think about, oh, Toby is this and that, I formed an opinion. And that opinion is there, like this fist. And that opinion is not gonna move. And if you expand that to all the things we judge on a daily basis, sometimes naturally and very in the flow of things, sometimes we hold on to our beliefs a little too strongly, then that's when the stuckness, the paralysis happens. And this is another thing how there's flow of water and sewage water and all kinds of things. So it happens at all different levels. And so the mental and the physical are very, very closely related, and it doesn't matter whether you have studied philosophy or Eastern movement studies, or you're a Buddhist like I am, or whatever you may be. The connection between mind and body is absolutely there. And so movement, I use it as therapy. When I was young, I was a basketball player, and as a teenager, I was very feisty. I hated my parents, I hated my place in the world, I wanted to leave Italy, imagine that. And I had all this tension, and I used basketball and physical activity to release all this tension. It was literally my psychiatrist, my therapist, or whatever you want to call it. And of course, when you're a teenager, when you're young, it's much easier because we have pretty much unlimited amounts of energy that we can use throughout the day. And so you're feeling bad, you're just gonna go for a run, or you're just gonna go play with your friends for 5 hours. And it's not gonna matter because you can do it. If you're 36 like I am, you can't quite do that on a daily basis because you're really tired. And so we need to find other ways to release this tension. And when I'm doing well, I do it through movement in performance, but particularly in training. And the training aspect, being an artist to me is not necessarily about creating something that's beautiful and magical and that gives the audience a wow, a breathtaking moment. Being an artist is a form of practice, like many other things are. And there's a lot of beauty and a lot of power in the daily practice, in my case, of a physical activity that's geared towards performance, but it's also just geared towards daily maintenance and daily happiness and daily kind of a positive usage of our own body. And the training takes a lot of different shapes, has a lot of different forms. My personal training is based on a lot of Qigong, which I've been studying with a teacher here in Taiwan, and a lot of the techniques I've learned through the years in my dance and theater training. You may be familiar with a dance theater company here in Taiwan called Wudao Juchang. The choreographer and artistic director is Miss Lin Li Zhen. They're called Legend Lin Dance Theater in Taiwan. And their training, which is amazing and mind-blowing, consists of hours upon hours upon hours of daily exercises which are extremely simple. And they basically call for a mobilization of the spine. So if you train with this company, and they actually have open classes that you can go and attend on a regular basis each semester or each 4 months. If you are in the company, you will just train countless hours, up to 12 hours a day, because they're very committed in just releasing your spine and allowing the 31, 32 vertebrae in your spine to sort of separate and not hold tension, so that your spine can move in a more natural way without tension. And then they translate this type of training, which is often non-discriminatory in the sense that it's men and women in the company trained the same way for the most part, no matter what their part is in the show, and be open through our days to talk to each other and to look at each other in the eyes and to, touch hands or hold hands or sit close to each other on the MRT with strangers and not be uncomfortable because, oh my God, they're touching me and my body's so tense and their body's so tense and they smell bad. It's okay. Like, we're made, our body is it's not just our world and it's not just who we are, but it's also our gateway to the world. And so stressing the importance of movement is a way to remind myself and hopefully remind all of you how literally extremely and inherently beautiful our body is, whatever our body condition is. And so I would like to encourage you all to not just pat yourself on the back or on the shoulder and to tell you, hey, I'm doing all right. But just to keep this in mind. It's really powerful in a way, and I don't mean it in any like inherently spiritual or new agey, oh my God, I'm your guru and I'm telling you, be better, move, and be beautiful. That's not what I'm doing. I'm simply relating back through my experience what I see and what I know to be true, and it's something that we all sort of share. And so please go on and move and allow this natural movement to happen. And there's a lot of ways you can channel this movement. There's a lot of things you can study and practice physically and mentally to encourage this movement and this flow. And you can come and talk to me later. I can give you some suggestions, but you all know it. We're all born, however we're born, with this body, and so we can all do it. So enjoy this. I mean that, not this. This is mine. Enjoy whatever it is that your body is, and you're here today, so it's wonderful. Okay? Thank you very much.